Okay, my artists, today we are going to be painting in our drawings from yesterday, or for those of you that have not finished with the Sharpie outline of your pencil drawings, you're going to finish the Sharpie outline first, and then when we get ready to paint, what we're going to be thinking about are color schemes. So we're going to talk today about 3 different color schemes. We're going to talk about monochromatic color, analogous color, and secondary, primary, and intermediate colors. So when we're talking about monochromatic colors, what we're going to want to do first while we get ready to paint is make sure we have all of our supplies. So I have a cup of water, various brush sizes for different jobs. So if I have something that's super small, I want to have a super small paintbrush like this one. Where the jobs get a little bit bigger, I might have bigger size paintbrushes to do the right job for that. So we're also going to want a piece of paper towel to dry our paintbrushes if we need to switch color, or if they get a little bit too wet. So back to monochromatic color. All monochromatic color is when we take a color paint. I'm going to pick purple paint. And what you want to do is you're almost showing value, or you are showing value, using paint. Instead of what we've been used to doing, we've done value with charcoal and pencil. In this case, when we're talking about monochromatic color, we're going to be creating value using color. So the way we do that, instead of pressing down harder or softer like you do with charcoal or with pencil, you're actually going to start with very little water in your paint, and as you get further along, you want to add more water. So what this does is it creates a value tone of purples. So it's ranging from the darkest purple to the lightest. And if I decide that the purple on my darkest value isn't dark enough, I can go back in, dry my purple paint a little bit, and continue to paint with less water in my purple. That's going to create a darker purple. So the less water that you use in your watercolor, the darker color you can get. And as you go, if you need to get lighter colors of the same color, you're going to water it down a little bit more. And that is monochromatic color. We're also going to talk about analogous color. So we studied the color wheel on Monday. If you weren't with us on Monday, I have a color wheel handout that you can look at. Analogous color is just when you use 3 or more colors that are side by side on the color wheel. And if you actually look at your paints, they're pretty accurate to the design of the color wheel. So 3 colors that would be analogous, for example, would be yellow, orange, and red. Because we know that we use red and yellow to mix orange, so we know that they must be right beside one another on the color wheel. So if I wanted to create an analogous color scheme, I could use yellow. I'm going to dry my brush in between the colors so that way they don't contaminate each other. And I could use some orange. I'm drying my brush again. And I could use some red. So these 3 colors are analogous because they are side by side on the color wheel. Other examples of this could be blue, red, and purple. And you guys can think a little bit about some more combinations that could be analogous color. So if you're going to use secondary, primary, or intermediate colors for your color scheme, The secondary colors are orange, purple, and green, whereas the primary colors would be yellow, blue, and red. And the intermediate colors are the colors that you get by mixing a primary and a secondary. So if I was to take yellow and green and I get yellow green, yellow green is an intermediate color. If I was to mix blue and purple, and I would get a bluish purple, that would be another intermediate colors. There are many intermediate colors, so I'm going to just do one more, but you guys will have the copy of the color wheel to look at this, or if you need to ask me, I'm always here to ask. If we mix red and orange and we get red orange, that's another intermediate color. So they look a little bit close, but as you can see, they are all different. So what you're going to do, and I'm going to use my son Joey's example because I've done this project with him before. So what we have here is something that might look a little bit like one of your drawings. He decided to draw a milk jug, and we did the whole process. So we started with pencil, traced in Sharpie, and now we're ready to paint. I'm not going to paint his whole project because I want him to be able to paint it, but I'm just going to paint this design that he created up here in the corner, and I'm going to pick monochromatic color. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick blue, and I'm going to make sure my blue doesn't have a lot of water in it yet because I want to start with a dark blue. So I'm going to start up in this corner. And I have a fairly larger brush compared to the other sizes that I have, but I want to make sure that I have a brush that's a good size to fit inside the shape that I am painting. So that is my dark blue. Now I'm going to try to make a medium blue, so I'm adding a little bit of water to the blue that I just used. And this is how I create monochromatic paint color scheme in my painting. So right now I have dark blue and I have medium blue, and I'm going to continue to add a little bit more water to the blue that I already have to paint these triangle shapes. And I'm going to actually switch brushes because I'm noticing that this brush is now a little bit too big for the job. So I'm going to go back to my smaller brush and continue. And every triangle, my brush is getting a little bit drier, so I'm continually dipping it back into my little pool of blue that I've created up here on my watercolor palette. And if you guys don't have one of those and you want to do monochromatic color, or you want some extra space to be able to mix color, I have those wonderful styrofoam platters that you guys can use to do that. So now I have 3 ranges of blue for my monochromatic blue color scheme, and they are dark blue, medium blue, and the lightest blue. I'm gonna stop here and allow you guys to create and let Joey finish his painting, and I will get back to you tomorrow with his results. I'm looking forward to seeing yours too.